Welcome to the City of Claussen's council meeting for Tuesday, January 17th. This meeting is called to order. We will have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Bogdan Reek. And following the pledge, please remain standing for the invocation. Come to the microphone. Perfect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bogdan. And Bogdan is a member of our local scout troop, Troop 1610. Let us pray. Dear Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you for the freedom to embrace you. Thank you for loving us, even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember Barris.
Here.
Councilmember Horton.
Here.
Councilmember Ulbrich.
Here.
Councilmember Woolley.
Here. On the consent agenda this evening are a number of items: approving our minutes from our public hearing and special city council meeting held January 3rd, the minutes from our last council meeting, January 3rd, the minutes of our special council meeting held Tuesday, January 10th, and approving the coin-operated amusement device license renewals for a number of businesses, along with the dance entertainment license renewals for businesses.
Madam Mayor, I move the consent agenda be approved as listed.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barris.
Yes.
Councilmember Horton.
Yes.
Councilmember Ulbrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley.
Yes.
And Mayor Lubes.
Yes. And I should have mentioned this before our consent agenda. I'm looking to remove items 6 and 7 from the agenda to table it until our following meeting. 6 is presentation of the Claussen Police Service Awards, and 7 is consideration of a request by the Claussen Police Department for a public auction. Since both of these pertain to our police department and our police chief in particular, who unfortunately is not able to be here tonight, I'd like to delay these things until our next council meeting.
Support.
Roll call, please.
If I could,
Yes.
I personally, I have no questions on item number 7. I don't know if anybody else does that are necessary for the police chief to be here. I'd like to. That's fine.
Up to you.
I personally, since Harry's going to be here at the next meeting, I think right. I mean, there are no questions, but it just seems that both of these are right up his alley. I would, if we have any questions as far as maybe changing the venue or anything, I'd like to talk to Harry.
I don't see a problem with it.
A problem with voting on it or delaying it?
I say vote on it.
Okay. Anything from this corner?
Yeah. Nope.
Okay, then we'll remove number 6 and move forward with number 7. Right?
Yep.
Who seconded that?
So I'll support that.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Horton.
No.
Councilmember Ulbrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley.
No.
Mayor Lubes?
Well, what a quandary. I thought it would be appropriate for the police chief to speak to this, but if there aren't any questions about it, I would go ahead and vote on this. Oh, let's see. Well, I have a question then for Mr. Pollock. If we move forward and vote on the abandoned property, then what will happen is that the chief of police will set a date and a place for the abandoned
That's correct.
property?
And he did say, knowing he was going to miss tonight, that he's okay if you do approve, and then if you have questions, he can answer them prior to even setting the date. So if you're okay with moving forward to approve the auction, he can still answer questions, even the date may be set after the next council meeting. So he could still answer those questions even at that time, but he said he would answer them as soon as possible, whatever questions you had.
Okay.
With
All
that
right.
said, I would change my vote to yes.
All right, and I'll say
The
yes.
Motion stated again, please. And then
Or
maybe
Michelle,
we can start over.
Restate how you want here.
That we're going to move, we're going to delay number 6 until the next council meeting, and we're going to move forward with number 7. So we'll take roll call again?
Motion and support would be,
Support.
who's the motion?
Motion.
Debbie?
Madam Mayor.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have it
can't
correct.
motion.
So I got Debbie and support with Matt,
Really?
right?
Please, just
We'll
simplify
talk
with
later.
things.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
Mayor Lubes,
Yes.
and Councilmember Ayers.
Yes.
Okay, so now on to number 7, consideration of the request to approve the sale of unclaimed property as well as the sale of any city property by the police department at a public auction. I did well, we voted yes to amend the agenda. I didn't bring the list of items with me. There were probably 15 items on that list: bikes, jewelry, miscellaneous items. I didn't see any vehicles on this list, but is this something we'd be able to post on our website?
Yes, we will. We'll post it Facebook as well.
So then people would have the opportunity to view the property if they believe they're lost or misplaced or the item walked out of their home.
Right, he has 5 days to post, and anyone who has claim to this property can claim it within the 5 days. They just have to show proof of ownership, and then they would receive the property.
Where is it posted?
It'll be posted in the newspaper, and then we'll also put it on the website and
Oh.
Facebook. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we need a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move the request for authorization from City Council to dispose of the abandoned property in accordance with the Abandoned Property Act, MCL 434.181 by the Clawson Police Department be approved with a public auction notice being posted in accordance with the law.
Support.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, can I get the motion and support again? I was trying to catch up here.
That's right. I move the request.
Oh, I mean, who
Okay, I
motioned?
made the motion, and then
Thank you. Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
yes.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
and Mayor Lubes.
Yes.
And Councilmember Ayers.
Mine don't count. She just said yes. Yes.
Afraid of what you might say.
The next item looks at a request to utilize revised software to update our city website and install a new emergency and event notification system. We did a website changeover in 2010. At that time, the low bidder was Revise. We paid $16,700 for the original design, training, and support package. We upgraded in 2013 for $3,700. We're looking at updating again. Revise has offered a discounted rate for the format upgrade and notification system of $8,100 and $4,000 annually for the notification system, eliminating the C-click fix. So I have, I am not the computer guru, but in our most recent Michigan Municipal League information reported using cloud services, that a simple answer is that the cloud is a way to store and access software programs over the internet instead of a local server or your desktop computer. And I think after reading this article, we're talking about two different issues with the technology upgrade and the cloud. So in light of the article talking about the cloud, is that something we utilize in the city?
I don't believe so. I know it is something we can look at in the future. I know the security is improved. In fact, our auditor, Dave Williamson, has recommended. They moved a lot of their firm software onto the cloud, and it is something we can certainly look at in the future. Like I said, the security was the issue before, but I think they've made vast improvements to protect data and put it in the cloud. So it is something we can look at in the future, but right now I don't believe, unless you can think of anything, Michelle, that we utilize cloud services for.
Well, our email system is cloud-based.
Email. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're on the Gmail system through Google. That's cloud-based.
And even the Facebook and some of the other sites are cloud-based, not so much here.
But I don't think BSNA we could get into a cloud-based
No.
system.
Need a motion?
Okay, I'm going to finish my thought regarding the MML article. Reporting that it was determined moving to the cloud service will ultimately pay for itself and create significant savings. The cloud services they're talking about is a Google G Suite or Office 365 data storage. They also mentioned C-click fix in there and Spotify, and I have no idea what Spotify is, whether that's an advantage or not. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Are you ready, Councilman Horton?
Mayor, I move the request to utilize revised software to redesign the layout of our city website and to add new notification system in the amount not to exceed $12,100 be approved, and authorize the city manager to sign the sales agreement.
Support.
Mr. Pollack, on this, so this is going to remove the C-click fix-it.
Yes.
What's replacing the C-click fix-it?
The Revise has a system, embedded system for notification, which we believe will give the council what they've been asking for since we started trying to put something in place for notification. It gives department level event notifications. People will be able to sign up for text messages or email on any department we make available. So for example, if you wanted to attend Jenny's library events, she could post on their events coming up, sales, anything like that. If you signed up and you had checkbox the library event notifications and she sent it, you would get those. If you didn't want library, or if you didn't want something else, you wouldn't get those notifications. So it does allow you to sign up for what you want to be notified by, and then options, there'll be emergency notification option as well. But we'll have a little more broad categories for people interested in getting some notifications, but not everything. And unfortunately with C-click fix, we had asked in the beginning availability of a notification system within, and I think Mike's gotten a runaround for a while now. They keep saying that they're working on it, but he's been passed to several people, dealing with several people, and he's not convinced that we're going to get the service we had hoped for when we signed up. So We believe this system will give us everything we want, and it is less expensive. It's $2,000 a year less.
Mark, are we losing the reporting and tracking capability with this program where people see, a pothole that they want to report to the DPW? Do we lose that functionality and the ability to track that? And
No, they'll still be able to report issues around the city, and there is a GPS capability where people can report it, and then see if someone else has already reported, and then the progress. That all that capability will be there within the system. So
Will there still be the function that when someone reports something, there might be 30 or 40 comments attached to that particular?
I'd have to check. I think we can limit comments, or we can say the whole idea of allowing someone to post and make a comment is making sure we follow through and that they get notification that we've resolved the issue. First, that we've got the issue and that we're resolving it. The C-Click Fix did kind of turn into
A blog.
Yeah, it turned into things
comments,
that weren't
an open
related.
forum.
Things that weren't related necessarily to the issue reported were reported on that issue, and we'd go and find them and let the person know this is not this was for a pothole reported or a dead animal, and has nothing to do with what you're posting on. So, and that was one of the areas we were trying to work on to help eliminate, and Mike was having difficulty doing that. So, but this will allow us, I think, to have more control as well of comments that aren't related to that. I think we'll be able to, simply prevent that type of thing. And I might be able to limit the number of comments from other people, but we're not trying to stop people from commenting, but we're trying to get comments in the related item when somebody's reporting.
Yeah, there were several times when I saw the comment was removed due to subject matter, and it was all because it had turned into a back and forth between 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of that availability on the Facebook page where people will comment. And again, it's as generally as people don't use name or aren't defamatory, we allow the comments to be out there. I mean, they don't have to love the decisions being made or the people making them, but we generally allow people to make comments, general comments, without removing them. It's just when things get off topic and then other people are commenting, then it got to the point where it wasn't giving us the impact we wanted.
Right.
I do have 2 questions. One, who in the right mind wouldn't want library event notifications? Secondly,
Everybody would. For minutes.
Smile.
Secondly, with this website overhaul, are we going to be integrating any of BSNA functionality into it?
We did ask Joe, who is our salesperson. He said that they're open to looking at anything to work with. He's familiar with BSNA platforms, so there may be ways to tie it together.
Okay.
So that we're getting the one feature that Mike liked was in the notification, especially, was being able to post to one area and have it update all the others without having to repeat it all. Yeah. Joe did say that they'd be willing to work with anything we have existing, and like I said, he was very familiar with and happy with BSNA's programming and format, so he said he'd work with us on anything if they don't already have it. They could work toward getting it. So, and that's the one thing Revise has worked really well with us on is if we have questions or comments or they're open to, let's see if we can make that work. So,
because with the online permitting and that kind of thing, right?
Direct links. We'll be able to do direct links in our site, and the hope is to make it easier because, again, I know occasionally it still gets difficult to go on the website and find something. We're going to try and simplify it and make it easier, in some cases through icons, but not over-clutter the main page, but make it easier to find things that you're looking for on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And some of the newer sites, that's what they're doing. They're utilizing a lot of, modern techniques. As you know, Matt, in the field, there's a lot of discussion when people about how long you have people's attention, what are they looking for, and all of those statistics are showing now that people don't spend a lot of time if you don't get their attention right away. And a lot of people don't want to dig through 4 pages to find what they're looking for. So we hope this is going to help find it. And he said the newer sites they're doing, this is what's happening. And I believe locally they're doing Berkeley and Troy websites right now. Revise is in the newer format. So.
The one other request I would have is that when you perform a search on the website, you do get shown ads, and I'd love to get rid of that. I know we have to pay like $100 a year or something, but I think it's time to get away from that.
You'd like to not see the ads, is that?
Correct, yeah, please. It's my personal opinion.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
Mayor Lubes,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht.
Yes.
The next item is a proclamation for the Knights of Columbus. The Knights of Columbus, the Father John Lynch Council 4188, has served the residents of Clawson for over 60 years, being granted a charter in 1956. The Knights of Columbus is named in honor of Christopher Columbus, with charity as the first principle of the Knights of Columbus. So in honor of their anniversary, we'd like to announce via proclamation that we are grateful for the Knights of Columbus and their members for their continued charitable donations that help to provide a better quality of life for us in and around Clawson.
Madam Mayor, I move the proclamation to Father John M. Lynch Council 4188. Knights of Columbus, recognizing them for their over 60 years of service in the city of Clawson, be approved.
Support.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Lubes,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley.
Yes.
The next item looks to establish a public hearing for February 7th for comments regarding the Community Development Block Grant Funds. What we're looking at are using monies for sidewalks. In effect, the architectural barriers is defined by the American Disability Act, large print books for the library, and senior transportation drivers' wages. So looking for comments at our public hearing regarding those items and any other items you'd be interested in seeing. We generally have about 28,000, 30,000 in community block grant monies each year.
Just over 30, depending on the year.
Madam Mayor, I move the public hearing be set for Tuesday, February 7th, 2017, to solicit comments on the reprogramming of certain 2016 Community Development Block Grant Funds.
Support.
Any other questions?
I do have one question. So I just want to confirm, we removed the donation to Haven this year. Doesn't the Haven money usually come out of
Oh,
this fund?
you're right. Yep. We approved money to the Haven.
Yes.
Haven was approved, and we had the large print books and the driver's wages, and unfortunately, over the last few years, it's become very difficult for both Jenny and Kathy to gather the information that they require now to get those federal funds. In fact, it's quite invasive. They went a lot of very personal questions you have to ask, and if you don't get the answers to those, you have to fudge them, and I don't think either one of them are very comfortable with trying to estimate or guess. So what we have, and we've talked with people at the county and asked them to do their best to try and relax those requirements. We understand the information they're trying to gather and why they're trying to gather it, but it's gotten to the point where it's very invasive, the questions they have to answer in order to get those funds. And like I said, other than having to guess or dealing with a lot of people that are upset, we know the truncated domes is something that's been working and we've been utilizing for the ADA sidewalk. So it's gotten to the point where it's easier to just reprogram the money for those items because those are ones we know we can meet the qualifications for.
So the Haven and the sidewalks.
Yeah,
are what we're
Haven's
looking
a
at.
very well-run program, and their requirements, they actually handle their requirements on their end for our contribution, so there's not a lot on our end we have to do.
So should that be added back to this list, or?
No, just the ones we're reprogramming are the,
Okay.
at the public hearing, the ones we're reprogramming are the large print books and then the driver's wages. The other ones we set are, it's still in place.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayers,
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
and Mayor Loops.
Yes. Moving on to the bills to be paid in the next 2 weeks.
Madam Mayor, move to pay the bills.
Support.
Questions or comments on the bills? City Attorney's report, roll call.
Bada boom.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley,
Yes.
Mayor Loops,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers.
Yes.
City Attorney's report,
None other than a comment. I'd like to thank Councilperson Albrecht for providing all the appointment ordinances. I've given you a chart on it. The mayor has requested additional information, which we'll gather and provide to the mayor and council so we can get further information to resolve the ambiguities.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was my question for you, and you were very proactive.
I try to be.
Yes. The city manager's report,
I just had one item. I did get a question, comment from the mayor via email, I think within the last day or two, about Troy's report on SACRA and the recycling carts. The SACRA board did agree that the carts would be distributed to all the member communities for single-string recycling facility, which is being worked on now. You may notice some construction going on over on the facility on Coolidge. That facility will be the single-stream recycling location. It's being revamped, retrofitted, and each community has agreed to provide carts to the community. Beverly Hills and Huntington Woods were part of a pilot program to check single-stream recycling, so they have their carts, but they'll be 65-gallon carts. You'll get significant information over the next few months because we don't anticipate distributing them till sometime in the summer. I think they're shooting for late July right now on the changeover, but you'll get information, and then there's a firm that was hired to help arrange to get those carts to each resident because we understand people work, they're not always home. They facilitated that process in both Huntington Woods and Beverly Hills, and they did an excellent job. They said that the residents were very pleased with how accommodating they were to get the carts. The one thing we also found out was they will still be collecting the recycling bins you use. If you find that when you get the cart you don't want that bin anymore, we are going to take them and we'll turn them in they'll be recycled themselves. But they will continue to pick those up if people feel it's more convenient still to use those. But the comments from Huntington Woods, Claire Galed, who's very big proponent of recycling in their community, does a lot of recycling for its size. She said that the majority of the people that had the bins thought they would be easier to carry it, found out it's very simple to wheel that cart down to the road and fill it. In some cases, they would take it down maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, but they were finding a lot of people that weren't doing much recycling did a lot more when they could throw it in that bin. So it did increase the recycling in both of those communities. And the convenience, again, of a truck being able to pick up that container and dump it and then have it sort at the facility. So we are part of that distribution process, and we'll have it in at least one between now and then of our highlights, let people know the process. And then they will also be doing, I don't know if it's a door-to-door or a mailing to let people know and arrange for them to get the cart so that everyone gets a 65-gallon cart.
Are we looking at the end of August for distribution of the carts?
Yeah, they're trying to be ambitious and say July, but it'll likely be either August or early September, and then they'll start picking them up. There'll be a period of time that if people start putting them out, they'll start picking out. The main thing was that they didn't want to deliver them and not be able to pick them up immediately because they know people will use them and put them out immediately. So they're hoping to be ready for them when they distribute them. So the goal was August was probably a realistic date.
Mark, what about the recycle bins for the businesses.
Yeah, we actually I think we have 3 now that said that they would participate. I think if necessary, Jeff and I will go, Jeff McKean, who's our general manager for SACWA, would go directly to the businesses and let them know, here's the bin, here's where we'll put it, and they'll come and pick it up weekly. If you find you need more than weekly pickup, we'll arrange for it. So we wanted to have 5 to start. If we can't get 2 more, we'll just do 3 and go from there. But I think we'll get 2 more. I think we'd all expected that Clausen Steakhouse would be one, because they tend to have a lot of recycling. So we'll even if they say they're not interested, we may put one out there and see if they use it. But we think they'll be interested.
How about the feed store?
Feed store is another one. Val's.
And
Those would be very close, be easy to pick up. But Jeff said not to worry about the pickup. They'll arrange for it even if they're on opposite ends of the city. But whoever's interested can contact me or SACRA directly and ask for Jeff McKean, and we'll get started. But
can we have the other 2 done before the next meeting?
yes.
Might find once the few start that the others will join in.
And that's what he said they found in communities where they're doing it, is once people realize how simple it is and there's not a whole lot to do other than lift the lid and put the recycling in it, they'll contribute.
So are we saying that the recycle bins will be in place at the businesses by the next meeting?
Yes. I'll make sure that they're there and being picked up before February 7th.
Hallelujah.
Write that down.
Ha, okay, thank you.
Mr. Pollack, if I might step backwards to the residential recycling program, you mentioned that it's going to be easier for them to pick up the bins and then do the sorting at the facility. Does that result in lower costs to us?
It will. The facility itself is pretty amazing to see it work. And again, I'm sure all the communities will offer their council a tour to show how those machines work. It's amazing when you see them in action. They actually have things that can pinpoint items on a conveyor and actually with a puff of air blow them off into another line and sort it. They don't need as many personnel to do it. And then we believe that the amount of recycling will increase by participation, which of course will result in more credits. But I mean, it'll take a while because it's a lot of money to upgrade the facility, but we believe we'll also be able to take third-party recycling, which we'll get credit for, which is another revenue stream that we're looking at. The capacity will be for much more than the communities contributing through SACRA to take on other, and we've already had discussions with other carriers that said they could bring material to the facility, and that would create even more revenue. So we feel like it's going to be a good business model. It'll take a number of years to get to full capacity, but they're setting it up so they could actually run 2 shifts if necessary, where they could run people right through the evening. So we really hope down the line that's what the facility ends up being.
Thank you.
I'd like to look at setting budget dates in the near future. Historically, we had our budget meetings anytime in February, March, or April. We know the budget needs to be approved by the end of April, so let's look at budget dates soon.
The second meeting in May is when it has to be adopted by council, and I think the last few years we've set up council budget workshops in April, which gives me time we get through the border review. I'm able to get more accurate numbers for revenues especially. But I'll send out maybe half a dozen dates in April and have you pick from them, see which ones work. And I think the last couple of years, we've done 3 budget meetings. So that way we're not trying to push it all through in 2 dates. But I'll send out, I don't know if your preference is the non-council Tuesdays, or if there's a better day, I'll try and pick a mix. We usually try and get at least 4 different days of the week as options, and then figure out which 3 work for everyone.
Thank you. Anything else? Any other business? New business? And I do want to express our condolences to Councilman Aris on the loss of his brother, and it's dedication and responsibility and habit to come to the council meeting, so thank you.
Thank you.
An upcoming date to mark on your calendar is March 4th, which is the Jimmy Marvin Scholarship Fund, in honor of Jimmy Marvin, who died of cancer. A lot of members in the Clawson community attend a fundraiser. The money is used for scholarships for our Clawson kids. The difference in the Jimmy Marvin scholarships is that they're renewable. So when you're awarded one, it's good for it's good for 4 years. And we took a tour of Clawson today with a representative from DIA who viewed a variety of sites to put up artwork at the end of April to the end of July in Clawson. So the areas under consideration were our parks and our city buildings, including City Hall and the library and Hunter. So we're all excited to see which sites DIA will choose for us. Any other business? The floor is open for public discussion. All right, the floor is closed for public discussion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht,
Yes.
Councilmember Woolley, Mayor Luke,
Yes.
Councilmember Ayers.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. And your sister.
Siri?
How do I get this off?
Howie doesn't use it.
And
He
Harry's
just talks too much.
sister-in-law.
Now, how do I close it now?
One on.
Over here on this side.
Yeah,
Hold it.
it's a
If
mess.
you hold that home button down,
Yeah, where it's on this
when
way.
you hold the home button down, Siri thinks.